I think I only have one more witness after Ms. Medina, and of course there are a whole lot of people for and against that we will put in the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Debra Medina. I'm here speaking on behalf of myself and also as the Executive Director of We Texans. I will try to say ditto that and earn points with you. I do want to hit on a couple of things that have been kind of repeatedly asked. I think it may be important to remind the committee, some of you may not have had the opportunity to review the work that the interim committee did. The Denbury Green Pipeline is in fact in the ground and operational, despite the fact that the Supreme Court said that company had no right to take property. And I appreciate the sentiments of Mr. Layfield saying that's right, our property code says if you don't use the property for the purpose for which it was condemned, it reverts to the owner, and it ought to revert to the owner. I think that is something that should be considered. I've worked with Texas Land and Mineral Owners Association, with Texas Farm Bureau. We are unanimous in believing that landowners need notice, and Representative Orr, that is so that we can augment and help that state agency to do that fact-finding, to do that adversarial process. It is individuals who have brought these issues to the fore. It is this process has to be about more than just what we would like it to be, but what it is. And what it is, and what it has been for years, is the Railroad Commission has known darn good and well that there were pipelines all across the state waiving that T4 permit in the face of landowners declaring that they had a definitive decision from the Railroad Commission and taking property, and they knew it, and they did nothing about it. And that, if nothing else, says why the Railroad Commission cannot be left in charge of this process. Mr. Mann talks about wanting a process. He wants a process that is no process, and he knows that. The Railroad Commission has demonstrated repeatedly that they are not interested in ensuring that the law is followed. If you are going to give the government power of eminent domain to an administrative agency, then you have got to make sure, to a private entity, then you have got to make sure that the private entities that exercise that power do in fact meet the statutory requirements to do that. What is that? He didn't answer your question. It is carrying one of the 7 products defined in Chapter 111 of the Natural Resource Code. It is moving that product from a place in Texas to a place in Texas so that the Railroad Commission can regulate that, and it is doing it to and for the public for hire. 10%, Mr. Chairman, you almost got me to 4. Got to have notice. Got to have a trial de novo. If you're to or for the public, then your business model ought to be to or for the public. And I wonder really if we need to specify in statute, or if that is something that is determined through the adversarial process, that if your business model is that you are to or for the public, maybe sometimes in some locations in this state that's 75%. Maybe sometimes it's 95%. And maybe that's something that should be left to that adversarial process, but it sure ought to be a whole lot more than 10, and I think it always, always ought to be more than a majority of what you do. If you're going to condemn and take land, then the majority of the work that you do better be for the public. To condemn and take land for anything less than that is theft. I'll close. Thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the work that you've done, and I will answer any questions.
Questions, members? Thank you, Deborah. Appreciate you being with us all day and waiting. Before I call the last witness, is Rachel